Okay, hello all. Good morning, good afternoon. So this is day 13 of free Intune training provided by How to Manage Devices community. And if you want to know more about the community, you can refer to all the blog posts like forum.howtomanagedevices.com. And this is Anoop here, and today we are going to continue our Intune learning. So welcome all. And yesterday we had done some logic analysis of deployment scenarios or assignment scenarios in Intune world, right? So we did a test like um, what happens if two groups, Azure AD groups, are assigned to a particular application deployment, right? So let's see that again. Okay. So what we did is we deployed a line application, right? This is an Microsoft Store for business application, and we did two deployments or two assignments. One was required and the other one was available, right? Available is for users, right? And deployment was for devices. And today we are going to see, and we saw the results, right? Intune results will be both exist. In the client device, we could see both, right? So if I go to one of my client, this is Azure AD joined client, right? And this is Intune 003 and Azure AD joined, right? So if I go to company portal or start menu, you can see the application automatically got installed. I didn't go to company portal and installed it manually, right? It got automatically installed, right? So we had seen this yesterday, right? So today what we are going to see is, okay, we will test this scenario. One group will be user group and it will be as a available deployment, right? We will deploy or we will assign a particular application to a user group, right? And this will be a available deployment, okay? And other one, we will deploy, we will use a device group and we will deploy a uninstall program, right? In SCCM world, if I can say in SCCM world, right? Or in Intune world, uninstall assignment, right? So let's see how to do that. Let's also understand what would be the result, right? What would be the result if I do that? User group with available assignment, device group with uninstall assignment, right? So what will be the results? Let's come back to that in a minute. So first of all, I need to find out which is the application which is kind of already installed, right? So for example, I'm going to take probably this one, right? The application is already installed as a required app with the previous intent, right? Then in that case, the application will be uninstalled, okay? So which is the application it's already installed as a required one in my scenario in this lab, right? So there are a lot of assigned applications. Company portal is one of them. I don't want to do that. um, if you are not speaking, can you please mute yourself? Thank you. OneNote is another one. I don't know, like that was also kind of okay, and that was also available application. Probably what you can do is you can start with small application, something like yeah, I will say this one, right? and I will go to properties. What I will do is initially I will deploy this application, right, as a required application. Okay, because we don't have any required application already installed, right? So this will be deployed to all devices, right? All Windows devices. And now you can see this group is added. This is under required, right? I don't know how many of you noticed, like, there is no scheduling option over here, right? At what time it should be available, at what time it should be, there should be a deadline also, right? In SCCM world, it's not available in Intune, right? So we will come to that in another deployment scenarios in the future sessions, right? So let's save this as a required application, right? And why we are doing it? I want to test this particular scenario, right? If the application is already installed as a required application, right, I need to make this scenario first, right? This is what I'm trying to achieve now, right? The application already is installed. There's no application installed as a required apart from company portal. I don't want to uninstall that. That is why I'm taking another new example for this, and I'm trying to test this scenario, right? Okay, so let's go back and check or sync the clients, right? So before going to sync part, right, many of you asked the questions about sync. Okay, what is the default refresh scenario for the sync? So it depends on the platform, right? So basically, and depends on the platform and the scenario, the policy, right? So for example, if it's a general refresh, like the policies, normal policies and all, right, then this is the thing. Let me highlight it in red, right? Come on. Okay, so this okay, so if it's general policies, these are the default refresh. Okay, let me refresh it. Otherwise, like, we are going to waste time over there. So let me refresh and then explain. Sorry, let me sync and then explain what is that default thing, right? So I'm going to sync all the three. No, I will leave one mission there. Okay, so that we will can test one another scenario also. I won't sync this mission. This is Intune 02, right? Okay, so let me go back to the sync schedule, default sync schedules for Intune client. So for example, if you want if you are manually syncing it, that's fine. The policy will immediately get pulled and refreshed on Windows 10 devices. But if you are not doing that, or if you are not asking that from user side or from console side, then it will normally take for all the normal policies, right? It normally takes 8 hours, right? All the platforms are offering the same, iOS, iPad OS, Mac OS, Windows, right? Everything, it will normally take 8 hours, right? And I don't think we have a option to change this to 1 hour, unlike SCCM. In SCCM client settings, probably you can change it, right? But over here, we are not allowed to change it, I feel, right? So the other refresh scenario is this one. Okay, so this is basically only for the compliance policies and conditional access, all those kind of conditional compliance policies related to conditional access, all those kind of scenarios, right? The refresh or policy refresh is bit different over there, because that is kind of somewhat critical, because complaints policies and those are kind of security related issues, and because of the conditional access, probably that can block the email access and all the other stuff, right? So that is why, like, every 15 minutes for first hour, and then every 8 hours. So that is for iOS and iPad OS, right? And mainly for Windows, right? Where is Windows? Windows 10 PCs, right? Windows 10 PCs every 3 minutes for 15 minutes, right? And then every 15 minutes for 2 hours, and then around 8 every 8 hours. So this is the refresh policy for some type of policies, right? Like compliance policies, etc., right? Which are very critical, okay? Or probably retiring a device or something like that. If you initiate something like that, right? Retiring a device or something like that, okay? So let me go back and check what happened to this deployment. Probably it is going to take some time, right? So it says installed. 02 is not installed. So always remember, I have seen this many cases, right? Or in overview, the status is not refreshed, but in device install status and user install status, the update will be like update. It will be updated. The status will be updated, right? So probably this is a UI issue or some update issue in the background in Intune. It will get resolved soon, I feel, right? So don't worry about this at the moment. As you can see, Intune 03 and Intune 404, we all the application already got installed, and in 02, which on that mission we didn't run the sync, right? This is the 02 mission, and we didn't run the sync. That is why it says install pending, right? So now what I'm going to do is basically let me check whether the application is actually installed or it's just so. So it's already installed. See, you can see that this is Intune 03. Okay, so now let me go back to that scenario which we talked about, right? So this is the scenario. Now we have a required application. So this is already installed, right, as a required application. Now I'm going to add all the other two scenarios. I will add a user group, right, as an available assignment, and a device group as an uninstall assignment, right, to check what will happen. Okay, so click on edit, and I will add user group as HTMD is my user group, and I will say like all Intune users. Probably that is the correct user group. Unlike yesterday, all Intune, and then I will say I will create a uninstall. So this is done now, right? User available is done now. Now I need to assign this one, device group uninstall assignment. Okay, so this is uninstall assignment. Okay, and I'm going to add a device group over here. Okay, so device group HTMD, all Windows, right? Where is all Windows group? Okay, so yeah, so this is another scenario which we can think of, right? So if if that particular group is already added over here, right, then it won't allow you to add that again, right? So I need to find out another group where these devices are part of, right? Okay, so let me find out another group from Azure AD to test this scenario. To Intune devices. What is this? All Intune devices. Let me see members, right? So okay, so this is another group which we can use. Okay, so this is all Intune devices. All these devices are part of that group. Okay, so let me try to select that group rather than Windows devices group, right? So this is not ideal, but yeah, you can try that, right? So now you understand, right? The scenario which we are trying to test here. This is the scenario, right? User available, device uninstall, and the application is already installed. In that case, the application should be uninstalled. As per Intune, documentation, Microsoft documentation, the application should be uninstalled, right? So let me remove all these things, right? So the intent should be application is uninstalled. Okay, so let me save this, review, save. Okay, and I'm saving it, and you can confirm over here, right? So there are all the three assignments we tried in this application, for this application, right? So device required assignment to device group, available assignment to user group, and uninstall assignment to device group again, right? Okay, so which one should take the precedence? The uninstall, right? Because the application is already installed on the machine. And if the application is not installed, right? If see yeah, if the application is not installed, probably we could see like what will happen in Intune this mission, right? This mission, what will happen, we will see. So we will sync the first mission, that is Intune 03, and we will sync it, right? And then we will come to this mission, right? This is Intune 04, and we will sync it. Okay, and this also like has a deployment. So this application got installed on this mission, all right? But on the third mission, we didn't refresh. That is why we didn't sync. That is why the application is not installed. Okay, this is which mission? This is 03, right? I need to go to 0, this one. Okay, so this is the one. Oh no, this is 02. I'm getting confused. Give me a sec. Let me minimize all my missions first. This is okay. This is one. This is okay. So minimized all the missions, and I need to open only the third one. Okay, so I think 02 we didn't sync, and that was pending, right, for the install, right? So 02 was pending for the install. Okay, let's see what happened. It automatically got synced or not, I don't know, but it should not be there. But it got automatically synced, I think. So that is why it shows over here. Okay. Anyways, like let's sync this also then, right? And we will see what happened here, right? So probably we might need to wait for some time, and we will come back to that in a bit, right? Until that time, probably what we can check in this scenario, there is another scenario which I wanted to cover today, that is something like exclude, right? So for example, if you have a scenario like you want to deploy an application to all the users in a particular department, but you want to avoid, or you don't want this application to be installed. For example, it's a monitoring application, right? Monitoring log on or log off kind of application, and activity related application, right? So this should be deployed to all the users in one of your organization, one of your department. But you don't want this application to be deployed on VVIP missions, right? So you don't want to track their activities. Okay, so in that case, you can use something like include and exclude functions in Intune, right? So for example, right? So f- if I want to take a example of PowerPoint, right? I want I want to deploy PowerPoint, okay? PowerPoint to all my Intune users, right? So for example, um, I will add a required application over here, okay? And I will say like a PowerPoint should be deployed to all no HTMD HTMD Windows devices, right? Okay. Or I will say like all Intune users devices. Okay, I will remove the devices. That will create a complexity. I will explain why. Okay, so I deployed this to all Intune users. Okay, and as a required assignment. Then then I have a scenario, like probably I want to exclude one particular user, VVIP user, right? So in that scenario, the option for me is, okay, I have a Indian to user group, right? All Indian users, right? So probably one location I want to remove. Okay, in that case, my VVIP user is Jitesh over here, right? I don't want uh, to track his activity, right? In that case, what you can do is, you can add that particular group. Okay, all Indian, right? Let me type Indian, right? Indian. Come on. What is the group name? All Indian. Okay. All. Why that group is not displaying? That's interesting. Give me a sec.
Try with HTMD. Starts with HTMD, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. I forgot what it was HTMD. Okay. Thank you, Harish. Okay. HTMD, all Indian users, right? So I'm adding this, right? And now I need to exclude this group, right? I want to exclude this group. So that, what is the option? Mode is the option over here, right? In mode, right? You can click on include and you can say like excluded, right? If you click hover over here, you will see like what is the intent of this setting, right? So we will come to this in a minute, right? And we'll say exclude, right? So if I say okay, so this will be this, the number, the users in this group will be excluded from this required deployment. Okay, so these, so the result will be, okay, in mathematics, if I can say, all HTMD all Intune users minus HTMD all India users. Okay, so Jitesh won't get this application, but all the other users, right, in my main group, okay, so those users are like all users, right? So all the other users like Anoop and Dave will get the deployment or assignment, required assignment for PowerPoint, but Jitesh won't get it, right? Because he is in an exclusion scenario. We excluded that particular group. Okay. So how the Intune will evaluate this, we will come to that in a minute, right? Let's save it. Let's let's start deploying it, right? So we will see that, okay, in a minute. Before that, let me go to the Intune logic over here, right? So this is again Microsoft documentation, right? And this section is mine. Okay, i I have built this section to make you understand or probably confuse you more. Okay. Okay, so basically it says like, if exclusion is in place, which will take the precedence, right? First of all, the thumb rule is you cannot mix user groups and device groups here, right? Thumb rule, that is a thumb rule. So for example, if you have a user group, I tried to do a device group initially, right? Then I moved away from that because I came like I was thinking, yeah, that could create problem. That is not a best practice from an Intune perspective, right? So you cannot mix user groups and device groups over here in the same assignment. Okay, so that will create a problem. So it's recommended and it's supported to always use the same type of groups. Okay, if you are using device group, use the device exclusion group. If you are using user group, then use user exclusion group. right? Okay, so that is the thumb rule, right? Then if there is anything like for all the scenarios, exclusion group will win or will get the precedence from Intune logic. What does that mean? So for example, now I said like only Jitesh won't get it, all the the other users will get. If the inclusion was going to take the precedence, then what will happen? So there is no point in adding that exclusion, right? If inclusion is winning anyways, like inclusion will win and all the users will get the application. That is not the intent, right? So that is why in this scenario, right, precedence will be to the exclusion of the group. So this is already explained in the document. Oh, come on. Right, this is already, no, this is for the profile assignment. This is for not for the not exactly for the application, but this is explained over here, right? Exclusion and inclusion logic, right? This is documented over here, and it says there's no, like, it's not recommended to mix, right? Mix device groups with user groups, right? As you can see over here, Intune doesn't evaluate user to device group relationship, right? So you cannot mix a device group with user group. Okay, so let me go back and check what happened over here for the other application, right? So it's still there, I don't know why it's okay. So probably we will see the results tomorrow of this. Okay, it's already 7:27 or 8:27. Okay, so what we were trying to test is this scenario, if you remember, right? Ideally this should be app should be uninstalled. Why that is not uninstalling, we will check that tomorrow. Okay, any questions?
Anup, Arvind here.
Yeah, Arvind.
Anup, can you tell me what are the default location in the machine? Where are these applications going on? Because I have installed few applications. I can see those applications are installed, but I cannot track the location in the system.
Yeah, I have not checked that actually. We had the same query on our one of our weekend sessions also. So there is for Intune management extension, there is a cache folder somewhere, right? In Intune, um, within Intune management extension folder. But for the MDM, I don't know exactly. Probably I can find out tomorrow and let you know.
All right, no problem.
Yep, no worries. Any other questions? Is this clear, guys, or is it confusing?
It's
It is
mostly
clear.
clear. Yeah,
Sorry?
it's mostly clear. I mean, there's not much confusion. Just that we have to work with different scenarios and practice. I think you will understand more on that. If I'm not
Okay.
wrong.
Yep, sure. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, we can
Anup, I have a
finish.
question.
Okay.
Anup, Sujit here.
Yeah, Sujit, you are not very clear, but there are a lot of disturbances, I feel.
Are you? Am I
Yeah, it's
audible
better
now?
now.
Yeah.
It's better now. Yeah.
Yeah. My question is, you have shown that frequency of syncing for conditional profiles and policies,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It is for Windows machine every 3 minutes for first 15 minutes, and after 15 minutes frequency for 2 hours, then 8 hours. That cycle will continue, or it is once in a day like that?
No, the cycle which will continue is this one, right? Around 8 hours for every day.
Okay, first 3 minutes and 15 minutes, that will be once in a day.
No, no, no. So every 3 minutes for the first 15 minutes. Okay. So for the first 15 minutes, it will try every 3 minutes. Okay. After the 15 minutes, it will fall into this category. Okay. That category is every 15 minutes for the next 2 hours. Okay. and then for all the other rest of the time, it will continuously try every 8 hours. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but my question is, it is once in a, it is in per day, yeah, it is for long.
It's no. So you are not understanding that. So what does it basically, right? There are 3 scenarios here, right? Scenario 1, that is for 15 minutes. 15 minutes, right? This is first scenario. Scenario 2 is 2 hours. Okay. Scenario 3 is after
8 hours.
no
Double 8.
after 2 hours. Okay. After 2 hours. Okay. Forever. Okay. So this is the scenario, right? There are 3 scenarios. In first scenario, what will happen? Give me a sec. Let me change the color. In first scenario, come on, let me type. Okay, it's not allowing. Okay. So in first scenario, every 3 minutes, it will sync. Come on, why the color is not getting changed? Bang. Okay, every 3 minutes, it will sync. Okay. And the second scenario, so this sync will be only for every 3 minutes, sync will be only for 15 minutes. First 15 minutes. After this, it will fall into the second scenario. Okay. Where every every 15 minutes, okay, it will sync for the next 2 hours. Okay. For the next 2 hours. Okay. After 2 hours, it will fall into scenario 3. Scenario 3 is forever. After that 2 hours, every 8 hours, it will sync. Does that make sense? Or
Okay,
got
okay,
confused?
understood. And I was thinking just like in a SCCM scenario that used to be in a means every day like that we used to make. That's what I was.
Okay. Hope this is okay now.
Okay.
Okay.
To add to that, then once we enter into the 8 hours, so
To
the frequency
this
cycle,
scenario 3.
yeah. So the
Yeah.
next frequency will be every time it's 8 hours from the mission.
Yeah.
Okay. So we take it as 8 hours. Maybe first 2 scenarios will be over within a day, maximum or within 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. After 2 hours, every time it's 8 hours. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, no other questions. Then thank you all for joining in, and we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Anup. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, Anup.
Thank you, Anup.